You know, one thing to think about is as many people have died from coronavirus in the last 20 months or whatever. Think about how many people go missing every year. Last year there was close to 540,000 people that went missing. Imagine if there would have been no lockdown earlier in the year, that number might have been larger. So when you think about all these crazy urban legends and people that have come and gone and have been seen and then they've never seen again and all this stuff, it's really not that hard to believe. But today, what I'm going to talk about is not about missing persons, but a missing urban legend. Meaning, it's an urban legend that seems to keep traveling, because now it's here, and before, it was somewhere else. I came up here a few days ago on my motorcycle. But I had some focusing issues with my camera, so I decided to come back and talk about this place because I wanted to do a little research. One thing that I found out is that when you're dealing with urban legends, there is a lot of convoluted truth. So let me just tell you the story. So there's no urban legend quite as good as an urban legend that keeps moving around. And I'll explain in just a second. But first, let's just talk about where we're at right now. I've done photos up here. I've had a few different videos where I've used parts of this, but just now am I really talking about this. So here's the story. You ready for the story? The urban legend goes that what happened was, I'm by a road. So as legend would have it, this was a very nice home that a couple moved into, had a couple of children, and they got to the point where they wanted to go out once in a while when the kids got just a little bit older. So they hired a nanny. The nanny was a little bit odd, but they got this nanny, and the nanny was babysitting the kids one night, and when they got home, the house was on fire and it had burnt to the ground. When they uncovered everything, the children were dead, the nanny was dead. And allegedly, the nanny had killed the children, sacrificed them, torched the house, and then sacrificed herself. And when they dug into the history of this person, she was a satanic witch. A little far-fetched? Well, I'll tell you what's funny about it, and I'm going to try to walk over here, is that there is a similar story in Corona, California, at another place. Up in the hills of Corona, California, on a dead-end street, there is an urban legend. Story that there was a house that stood there in the 80s. Two parents lived there along with two children. And one weekend, the parents decided to go on vacation and hire a nanny to watch the kids. It's said that Satan possessed the nanny to lock the children in the basement. Later that night, the house burned to the ground with all three people in it. And this is what happens with urban legends, and why I said sometimes that they travel. Meaning, they move around. You think, oh wow, that story was for that place. No, it was in my town. No, it was in my town. The claw hand murder. That was in Texas. I did a video about that. I'll make a link. This is a good time of night because it's still light enough, and oddly enough, this fire supposedly occurred very early after the couple left to go out. They found out about the fire, they came home very quickly, only to have gotten home too late. Now, I can't find anything about it. I found a lot about fires. Could have been electrical fire, could have been a couple of fires that have happened up here. But this is a very strange canyon. This is Texas Canyon, otherwise known as Hangman'S Canyon. The reason Hangman'S Canyon is so famous is because, well, it was part of the Range Wars. The Range Wars were these wars that raged on for quite a while. And up here there were people that were caught, and when they were caught they were hung, and henceforth the name Hangman'S Canyon. How many people were hung, I don't know. There's a lot of folklore around it, tons of folklore. So the whole canyon is creepy to begin with. There's no question about that. But that doesn't mean that urban legend is true. Doesn't mean it's not true. Could there be two cases where the nanny killed the children? I don't know if it happened in Corona. I was on a forum, and on that forum the person said, nah, that's not true. It is completely made up. It is malarkey. There are a lot of urban legends that I'm not that interested in. I'm usually interested in when there is something that is an element of true crime involved. So the question remains, is this the site of an urban legend? Is this the site of true crime? Is it just a house that burned down? Well, there's been a lot of houses that have burned down in this area, but is this one that really has some history or not? It's hard to tell. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing. Hit the notification button so that you're notified when I upload new videos. Take care of each other and keep rock alive.